In 2014, 2015, in my small, rural, southern Indiana town, we lost 3 teenagers to suicide. 2 of them died within 2 weeks of each other. They both hung themselves. All 3 were my daughter's age, and she danced with one of them next to her for nearly a year. When we lost the 3rd, my daughter said to me, "Mom, you're a social worker, a community activist, a mental health researcher, and I don't want to lose any more friends. We've got to do something." At this point in my career, I'd been a mental health researcher and clinician for several years. I had seen people in the emergency room with suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, and I studied adults with mental disorders like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and major depression. But it was at this moment when my daughter was looking in my eyes and looking into my heart and saying, "Mom, I don't want to lose any more of my friends," that I decided I wanted to become a suicidologist. I wanted to understand more about teen suicide, and I wanted to know why our kids are killing themselves. In 2016, we lost 45,000 people to suicide. Over 6,000 of those were between the ages of 10 and 24, and over 2,500 were between the ages of 10 and 19. Despite our best research, despite our best suicide prevention programming, those rates continue to rise every year. It is time that we all do something together. We do it different, and we do it right now. Because people who are suicidal, they don't want to die. They want their intolerable, their excruciating, their insufferable emotional pain to go away. Yet, as a society, it is this emotional pain that we largely ignore, leaving those who are suffering to turn to things like substances, self-injury, and suicide. Research suggests that it is this emotional pain that is the best predictor of suicide death, even more than depression and mental health disorders. Let me say that again. Emotional pain is a better predictor of suicide death than even depression. Yet you will hear a statistic that says 90% of people who take their own lives have depression. I'm challenging that today. I think there are 2 major reasons why, as a society, we ignore emotional pain, why we sort of shove it down, why we don't raise awareness around it, and why people suffer. The first reason, I believe, is because we hide it in the shadows of physical pain. We have elevated physical pain so that it's now our 5th vital sign. And now we find ourselves in a conundrum of pain control so immense that people are dying of an opiate epidemic. The second reason that I feel like as a society we largely ignore emotional pain is because of stigma. You hear this term stigma a lot. It simply means that it is something that we do not want to acknowledge as a society. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to see it. We want it to go away. And because of this, we have created a culture of shame around emotional expression that manifests itself in our white, middle-aged men. Who are those guys? Those are the guys that are dying 3 times more than our women because they can't express emotionally. Because as a society, we don't let them. We say, just hold on, you'll be okay, stuff it down, keep on working, just keep on keeping on. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I believe that if we take a community action approach, that if we all work together to do something now, to do something together, and to do something different, that we can rip emotional pain out of the shadows of physical pain, that we can work preventatively instead of reactively to help raise awareness around how to make emotional pain as important as physical pain. And I have an idea about how we can do that. I think we need to prepare for emotional injuries and emotional pain. I think we need to identify it in ourselves and others. I think we should engage it when we have it. We should engage it in other people, and then we should learn how to manage it. The first thing that we need to do is we need to prepare for emotional injuries and emotional pain. And how do we do this? It's simple. It's just like physical pain. We do a great job of telling kids, hey, don't put your hand on that hot stove. You're going to burn yourself. We tell kids, look both ways before you cross the street for safety. What do we do for heart safety? Do we say to our children, hey, Grandpa, you know, he's really sick. We could lose him, and it's going to hurt our hearts really badly. Do we tell our kids, you know, when you go to school, someone may say something or do something that hurts your feelings, that hurts your heart. And when they do that, I want you to come home and I want you to talk to me. I want you to tell me. Kids intuitively, they come home and they say, I scraped my knee. I bumped my elbow. But are they coming home and saying, Mom, someone hurt my feelings today because Mom has told them or Dad has told them, I want you to come to me because someone is going to hurt you and I want to know about it. We need to prepare our kids so they grow up to be adults that feel like it's okay to have a hurt heart, that it's not something we should just not talk about, and that it's especially okay to ask for help. The next thing we need to do is we need to identify emotional injuries and emotional pain when it happens. I have a couple of scenarios I want to run by you. Let's pretend that you're walking into, let's say, school or class, and you're walking next to Sally, and Sally is someone that you know, but you don't know her terribly well. You know her face, you know her name. And let's say that you're walking into class together, and Sally's sort of hoisting her backpack up on her shoulder, and as she does that, she takes a stumble and falls squarely on her knee. And you can tell that it hurts. What do you do? Do you look at her and think, she'll be okay. You know, she'll make it. Or do you stop and you say, oh, Sally, oh my gosh, are you okay? I saw what happened. Did that hurt? How bad did that hurt? Do you want me to go get the nurse? Do you want me to take your backpack? What can I do to help you? I would venture to say that most of you would do that because it's physical pain and it's okay. Let's take a different scenario, though. Let's say that Sally's locker is just a few down from yours. You can see her out of the corner of your eye as three girls walk up to Sally and say, hey, Sally, why you got all that makeup on your face? Is it to hide the ugly? They walk away laughing. You turn, you look at Sally. What do? Do you think, oh, she'll be okay? It's high school. Girls are mean. Happens all the time. Or do you walk over to Sally and you say, Sally, I saw what just happened. I am really sorry that happened. It looks like it hurt. How bad did it hurt? I want to know. Let's talk about it. Do you want to go somewhere and talk about it? We don't do that. Why do we not do that? Because we are afraid to ask, does your heart hurt? This fear keeps us from helping other people in those little bitty times of need every single day. Yet we have the opportunity to do just that, to catch an emotional injury on the front end and to help fix it, to help heal it. The next thing that we should do is we should engage our emotional pain when we have it. How do we do that? We acknowledge that it's there and we validate it. See, when we validate emotional pain, it creates a space for healing. When we're not validating emotional pain, we're ignoring it. And when we ignore it, it could get worse. So I have a student in one of my classes, and he is a soccer player. And he told me this story. He actually told my class this story that he was playing in a soccer game, and as he was playing, he sort of felt a pain in his foot. He felt something happen in his foot. But guess what he did? As all athletes tend to do, he just kept playing. And he just kept playing, and he kept playing, and then all of a sudden, guess what happened? You know what happened. That foot gave out. It took him out of the game. In the very same way, if we ignore our emotional pain, like we sometimes ignore physical pain, it could get worse. An emotional sort of heart scrape, like a knee scrape, it could lead to, let's say, an emotional or a heart stress fracture, which could lead to a full-on heartbreak and despair. But if we engage emotional pain, we create a space for healing. That is when healing can begin. The last thing that we need to do is we need to manage our emotional pain by following it to healing. How do we do that? It's sort of a two-step approach. The first thing that we need to do is we need to measure it. How bad is it? Is it an emotional injury that's mild, like a heart scrape, sort of like a knee scrape, or is it a severe heartbreak? Because step two is, how do we manage the pain? How do we heal it? Because an emotional heart scrape, something maybe mild, might take love, kindness, caring, encouragement, support, friendship, family. But a severe emotional heartbreak, distress, and despair could require something much more. It could require emergency response. It could require professional help. But we will not know what it will require until we ask. I want to know about you. Are you willing to prepare the world, your children, your tribe, your people, your community for emotional injuries? Are you willing to identify them when they happen, to engage your emotional pain and the pain of others? Are you willing to help manage it? Because I'm telling you right now, the culture of shame that we have created around emotional expression can only be undone by us, and us together, doing it now, doing it differently. Because I'm telling you, you do not have to be a cardiologist to heal a hurting heart. You just need to be someone who cares enough. So heal some hearts with me today. I need to know if you're in. Raise your hand if you are in. Are you going to help me out? Are you going to work with me? Are you going to work together to help heal some hurting hearts today? Be a heart healer with me. Thank you.